All right, we are on lecture 9. Let's get started. Welcome to Engineering 102 again. The main goal of today is to spend time working on in-class example 3, which I will spend a few minutes giving you some hints on and whatnot. Just so everybody's aware on logistics, attendance grades are up to date. We have posted the grades for the week 3 assignment, and the average in the class was a 45.9 out of 50, so you all did fantastic as a group. You all did great. Most of you pretty much got 100 on it, and if not, there's little things here and there. Week 4 is being graded. The hope is that is graded by Monday, and then week 5 will be due on Monday, which is what you're working on today. It will close on Monday at 5 p.m., okay? Just so everybody's aware, and this is not a timed exercise today, but the exam kind of will be. I mean, it's an in-class exam. It is definitely, what I'll say about the exam, it is going to be of the same flavor as the in-class exercises. It is going to be a lot shorter because the idea is you do have to get it done in 50 minutes, but you do have to get it done in 50 minutes. So you want to make sure that on Monday, if there are any commands or anything that you're a little confused about, ask. Okay, so come prepared on Monday, prepared to ask questions, because that's what we're going to do on Monday. I'm going to talk a little bit about the format of the exam, and then it is question and answer time, so be prepared with questions. Does that sound good? Okay, now before I forget, this assignment you're going to be required to submit both a drawing and a PDF. Okay, you're going to submit both. Okay, so not one file, but 2. How many files are we submitting for this one? How many files are we submitting? All right then. Okay. Now, for this exercise, though, you need to know how to plot. Okay. Plotting is incredibly easy in AutoCAD as long as you know the settings and the things that you need to do beforehand. We're going to spend some more time later on what those settings mean and what's the right way of doing things or whatnot. But for now, I just want to cover the bare basics. Okay. So in order to do that, I want to open the second drawing. Okay. So the second drawing is, first off, I have it done here in terms of I've got all the text here. If you all do not have all the text included, that is not a big deal because this is what we're going to be doing here is independent of that. Okay, I just want to show you how to plot. Okay, now the first thing that we're going to do for plotting is we're going to set up the drawing limits. Okay, if you remember the limits command, L-I-M-I-T-S. The limits command, what we can do is set the outer bounds of the drawing. And so what we're going to do is 0, 0, and then we're going to do 17, 11. Okay? Now, up until now, to be blunt, this really hasn't done anything in the drawing. Well, today it will. Okay? Because remember, just because you set the drawing limits doesn't mean that you can't draw a feature outside the drawing limits, because we can certainly draw objects outside those limits. But what those limits do is they set the bounds for printing. Okay? So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to execute the print command, which is it's not print, it's plot, P-L-O-T. So we're going to execute plot, and that's going to bring up a dialog box. Okay? This is the print command. You can do Control P or Command P, and this is what it'll bring up. Okay? Now there's a lot going on here. Okay? So we're going to take our time and digest what's going on. This is basically the configuration for how AutoCAD will print the drawing that we will generate. Okay? So there's a couple things that we need to do in order to get the drawing to output the way that we want it to. Okay? So the first thing that we need to do is we need to identify a printer. Okay? Now, if you're working in your dorm room or something or what have you, you actually have a physical printer. You can obviously print to a real printer. We're going to use one of the standard AutoCAD printers that are already built in, where it will export to a particular file format. And what we're going to do is use the DWG to PDF printer right here. So DWG to PDF.PC3. So that's a sort of, it's not a real printer like a physical printer. It's just a routine that will convert this to a PDF. Okay? Now, a couple things that we're going to do. If you look at the very top right, there's something called a plot style. And right now here on the screen, my screen, it says ACAD.CTB. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to change it to monochrome, okay? Now I'm actually not going to change it to monochrome here on the screen because I'm going to show you what happens when you don't change it to monochrome, and you'll see why here in a second. But what I want to do is show you the impacts of forgetting to do that, because on this assignment, I guarantee you somebody's going to forget to do this. Okay, I'm going to show you what happens. Okay, okay. So next thing that we're going to do is we're going to change the paper size. Okay. Now right now it's listed as ANSI-A, which is an 8.5 by 11. I want to use an ANSI-B, but I'm not going to choose ANSI-B. I'm going to choose ANSI full bleed B. Okay, and I'm going to choose the full bleed that's 17 by 11. Okay. Now, just so you are aware, what does the term full bleed mean? Inside AutoCAD, an ANSI-B has some pre-manufactured margins that are built in for an ANSI-B, but I really don't want to use them. I want to be able to print on literally every square millimeter of that sheet of paper. See, the title block that I have drawn is already inset 1/4 of an inch from the boundaries of the paper. So I sort of have already built a margin inside my title block, and you all are going to do that for this assignment this week, and that'll kind of make sense as you start constructing your drawing. So I want to use ANSI full bleed, okay? Now the next thing it's asking is what to plot, okay? And there are 4 options. The first is the display, which is just literally what you see on the screen. Nobody really uses that for accurate drawings, I would say. If you scroll down, we have a few options. We have extents, which will print all of the unfrozen objects on the screen. We have window, which the way window works is you could actually like click window and just say, I want to print this window, and it will print that window, okay? Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose limits. And so what is it going to do? It's going to print everything within the drawing limits that I specified. That's what that limits command was for, okay? The only other thing that I'm going to do is ensure that my scale is 1:1, because my drawing limits are 17 by 11 and my paper is 17 by 11. So I want to make sure that I'm printing at a perfect 1:1 scale. So right now it's sort of already defaulting to that, but we can just uncheck that and make sure it says 1 inch is 1 unit. Okay. Now, remember I left mine as ACAD.CTB. If I hit preview here at the very bottom, this is what it looks like. Does anybody see the problem? It's printing to color. Okay. And so the blue lines, the green lines, the yellow lines, you can't see them. Okay. So what I'm going to do is hit escape, and I'm going to change that plot style to monochrome. Okay, now what monochrome does is it will print all of the lines black, okay, regardless of what the layer assignment is, okay? And so for this assignment, we're going to use monochrome as well. You can also use grayscale. Grayscale will print them in a grayscale fashion, but then like yellow lines will show up lighter than black lines and what have you. And so once you sort of, okay, this looks good, this is what I want to see, we'll hit the print button at the very top. And then it'll ask me where I want to save the PDF. I'll save it on the desktop. I'll call it sample drawing. And boom, there's my PDF. It's that simple, okay? It's pretty easy, all right? The PDF will have a bunch of comments related to the text that you've generated. No big deal. You could just sort of close that. It doesn't really matter, okay? Does anybody have any questions about that process? It should be pretty easy, okay? Now later on, we're going to talk about like what scales we should use and what paper we should use. Like those decisions require a little bit more discussion, but the actual mechanics of executing the plot command should be pretty easy, okay? Any questions? Okay, so the main goal of today's lecture is, there's not really much of a lecture, it's an in-class exercise, so bless you. Today what I want you to do is I want you to focus on generating the following drawing, which everybody here should have a handout on the specifications to create it. I want everybody to watch here on the screen because I'm going to give you a couple of hints on how to do this. So the first thing that I want to point out is that this drawing would pretty much be I don't want to say impossible, but it would be darn difficult to produce this drawing without editing commands, okay? Like, for example, I have a wrench in the top right, and that wrench, you kind of need a fillet command in order to do it, okay? The stop sign, it's not really a stop sign because it's not a perfect octagon, but the stop sign in the bottom left, you can't really do that without a rotate command, okay? So you kind of need those commands, like the offset command is going to work really well for the top left and what have you, okay? Now, I want everybody to watch up here on the screen because I'm going to give you a hint, okay? Everybody watch up here. So if you're trying to draw that wrench, okay, so a hint for the wrench is to draw a circle and then just draw two lines that would serve as the outer bounds for the bar of the wrench. And then what you can do is use the trim command to trim the lines that are inside the circle, and then trim the circle in between those lines, and then the only thing left to do is break out a fillet command to round out the edges. Okay? All right? Make sense? Okay. Now I'm not going to give you a hint on every other feature of the drawing, but I am going to give you a couple of pieces of advice. So these are some additional notes and some hints. The first thing I would say is consider what order you draw, or you decide to draw the objects in. What I mean by that is, do you draw the objects and then rotate them, or do you try and draw the lines in a rotated fashion? Like what is easier, okay? You can always draw a single object and then use copy or offset to create additional ones, okay? You can always draw lines longer than they need to be and just trim away what you don't need, okay? You can always draw objects in a random position on the screen and then move them where they need to go, okay? You can always draw an object and rotate it once it's finished. You can always use fillets and chamfers and fillets and chamfers are sometimes a lot easier to use than polylines, okay? So I'm just wanting you all to think about the different ways to construct these objects. Any questions? All right, I'm going to turn the lights back on. I'm going to stop the recording, but I will pull up the AutoCAD view of what you can see here. So I'll pause the recording in case there's anything worthy of being re-recorded. But if not, y'all go ahead and get started. So I'll put this on the recording so everybody can see it. So this first pattern up here, this lines and squares pattern right here. So the way that it works is that the square inside is a 2 by 2, okay? And all of the offsets are a quarter, right? So for example, if I offset this object inside a quarter, I get this, and so on and so forth. Now for these lines right here, I'm not giving you very specific guidance on how to do it, but what I am telling you is that, you know, this is also a square, so think about what angles they are, and each of these offsets are also a quarter, okay? So what that means is, remember I said you can always draw the lines longer than they need to be and trim away the excess, okay? But you've got to think a little bit about the best way of doing that. The other thing, keeping in mind, you can always draw an object in an arbitrary location and then just move it to where it needs to go, okay? Does that make sense? But part of this is you got to kind of reason through the best way of doing it, okay? Real quick, I'll put something else on the recording. I mentioned this on the slides, but I'm starting to notice a couple things, and I thought I'd just point something out. So watch this over here. So I'm going to draw a circle with a diameter of 1.5. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a horizontal line from the center of that circle over. Now, if it's not snapping to the center, you can always open up your object snap and make sure that it's clicking the center. So we'll draw a horizontal line over. Then I'm going to offset that line by, I don't know, half. Do the offset command to offset up, offset like that. Then what I can do, delete that middle one, break out a trim command, trim, trim, trim. Then break out a fillet with a radius of 0.75. Maybe I'll fillet that with that and fillet that with that. See what I mean? So something y'all should think about when you're breaking out the skills on that wrench. So. That was a good question, so I'll put that on the recording as well. The line, this pattern, these are objects, lines or polylines or rectangles. This is not a hatch. These are all individual objects. So, real quick, one question I got asked was about the radius of this arc, this inside arc on the wrench. The one that's here, I'll move my cursor. The one that's like right here, well, from the distance from this line to this line is a half, and those two arcs fill the whole space, right? So you can infer what that is. So. Okay, so let me show you something real quick, because I've had a few students have this issue. So watch this. Okay, let's draw ourselves a rectangle. Let's put it here. And let's make it a 2 by 2. Okay? So here's a rectangle that's 2 by 2. And then let's use an offset of 0.25 to offset in. So I think that's the easy part, but the hard part is how do we get those outside lines, right? Again, you can draw more than what you need and trim away the excess. So watch. Everybody watch up here. So what you can do, let's just draw a line. Let's just make up a length. Let's say it's 6 units long, and let's say it's at a 45-degree angle. Now, would you agree that line, at least that part of it, is probably right? Okay, now watch this. Remember, you have a wide array of commands at your disposal, like a mirror command. We can break out another mirror command. And now we got 4 lines. Then we got that beautiful chamfer with the 0 distance. We can chamfer that. Chamfer that. Then we start trimming away what we don't need. You see what I mean? You've got commands at your disposal, okay? And notice, I just put this out in space at some random point in space. I can always draw the object and then move it to where it needs to go, right? You've got a lot of editing commands in your repertoire now. You can draw these objects with a lot more ease, okay?